you won't suck tomorrow, but I'm gonna hurt your feelings a lot because you're gonna hear a lot of like that sucked. Rewrite it, you know. Anyways, long story short, this kid, I think the last 4 clubs, he's gotten they give him a raise. They bonus, not a raise.
Shut
The
up.
comedy club owner gave him a bonus. Pissing me off because I didn't get one. You know?
He's bitter.
So yeah.
He,
And then so here's the 2 parts of hanging out with me. And then there's that part. There's a creative, let's work on our art, and then there's the other part. After hours, I'm drinking tequila. And now you got to babysit me. See, so you got 2 jobs. So
and you still signed up for that?
Yeah, and it's a good the payment to be in college comedy with Woody Barcena. It's worth it. The tuition is worth it. So
The tuition is
it's
worth
college
it.
comedy. It's what it
Is
is.
it
That's what I
really?
told him. Because I said, listen, kid, you're getting paid to learn.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, how fun is that?
so
I'm thinking maybe I ought to sign up because,
hey, it's
College Comedy
long hours.
101.
Long
long
hours.
hours, huh? It's
Long
not for the
hours.
week.
Yeah.
I get a lot of free time these days, so yeah, that would be interesting to see how you guys operate. I can only imagine as far as the way. Would you say your styles are totally different as to what you guys do as the comedy routines go, and with all the subject matters that comedians cover? Is it like do you guys make sure that you're not covering the same shit?
Yeah, I think as far as comedians go, you pride yourself on being original.
Right.
So, that's something Woody teaches.
Same sensibility. You know what? When I tell somebody, especially when I go with somebody on the road, I'll find comics that tell me, man, I don't know what to write about, and your whole life is a story. So I say, dude, find something that happened. I'll say like, tell me something that happened. You got to write it down, and then once they write it down, they go, well, this ain't funny. Well, of course, that's just the work just started. It's like building something. I want to build something. Okay, here's the material. I don't see a house. Get to work. Get to work, motherfucker. Start cutting and sawing and nailing and digging. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that about comedy because it's really funny because I was at a place and the girl says to me, she goes, I'm thinking about doing stand-up. I mean, people tell me all the time I'm funny. And I'm like, because I know this because I came out to L.A. thinking that same thing. And then you actually see you guys get up and it's like, wow, there's a whole fucking lot of work to this shit. And night after night, and the material that you're delivering, telling it like it's the first time you tell it, and the stories that you guys tell, it's like, it's real shit.
Yeah.
So, that delivery itself.
I've had the pleasure of hanging out with you. We talked. You're funny. You're very, you're just organically funny. You talk a lot of shit. Sometimes I'm like, whoa, that was quick. But I think, because I've seen you on stage too, and I think on stage, the only thing you have to do is forget that you're a comic. And don't worry about the audience and just be you. Like I'm telling you, because I told you that one time. If you tell the audience, I think if you just close your eyes and then verbalize, "Fuck you, people," and you start talking.
Exactly, just start
you're gonna
talking.
be fine. You started when I was watching you, and you're good, but you worried too much about whether they were gonna like you or not. And then this is all psychological shit. When I meet young comics and I see them go through that, see, comedy is therapy.
True.
And when I see, when I was a younger comic, I look back at myself and I was apprehensive and I didn't have confidence. And it all goes back to childhood. It all goes back to how you were raised. It goes back to your parents fucking you up and a teacher that said something wrong and it stuck with you. And we carry these things. And that's why comedy, when the more you're healed as a person, I believe. Okay, here goes 2 ways. The more you're healed, the more you can kick ass as far as with your material. Okay, well here's the flip side of that. If you're fucked up in the head, it's good too. You know what I mean? I hate to say that.
Yes, there is something to be said about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is not to worry about what people are gonna think about you. I always tell people how Lenny Bruce would talk about these things that were like how he was fucked up, and how he was just confused about a lot of things in the world. And then obviously these 2 men go hand in hand. Then you go to George. George is third, but I put Richard Pryor right there, where Richard would talk about
Growing up in
the
a
issues
whorehouse,
that he had,
brothel, right?
everything that happened to him. He would put it out there, and anyways, so yeah, man. The more you can dig out, I literally sit down, Anna Marie. I'll sit down and I'll go, okay, come on, man. Think of more fucked up things that happened in my life.
Yeah, but wait,
You know?
where is it that you write? Because I know you had talked about writing, and I'm like, okay, do you have to be in a certain place mindset to get your mojo on to put that material down? I mean, everybody's got a thing about where they find themselves most creative.
No, listen, I read a book by Stephen King in the How to Write, and that's where I picked up a lot of little nuggets. I had created some of my own at the time, but when I read that book, I was like, oh, I get it. He's like, you know, first of all, he says when you're gonna start writing, like when you're starting, he goes, don't even be picky. He's like, write wherever you can write. If you like, if you have to write on top of the washer and dryer while they're on, fucking write. Like
Yeah.
literally, he says if you have to write and the baby's crying, and you have to put, something in your ears, do it and write. He goes, because looking for the right place is for amateurs, he says. But what I've learned and what he said, especially at the level he's at, he goes, I don't have to do that anymore. He goes, I did that. I paid the dues. He goes, now I built an office. I built the office the way I wanted it. And that's where I write. So me, at first, I would write anyway. I used to be a security guard at the LA Zoo, and people used to think that I was taking notes of incidents, but I was literally writing jokes, and that was like the only place I could do it, And then they would go, "What happened here?" And I go, "Yeah, somebody gave the monkey the wrong peanut." So but I really
you
was
working the gorilla shift when it fucking took the kid. That was endless material.
Yeah.
I would think, but yeah.
But yeah. So, anyways, that's how I write. And then going back to I was telling, okay. And the only reason I go to Denny's now is because I got kicked out of my diner. I go to a diner in Silver Lake, and let me tell you something about Silver Lake. Okay, Silver Lake was voted like a year ago the hippest neighborhood in the nation.
Really?
Yeah, but check this out. When I first got there, it was a regular blue-collar neighborhood. Nobody even mentioned it because it was adjacent to Echo Park, which is the hood, where like you get stabbed if you're there at the wrong time.
It was a great place.
Oh, now it's gentrified. People don't walk with pit bulls; they walk with poodles and pocket dogs. Like that Mexican bakery is a Starbucks now. Everything's changed.
They took it. They took the mojo right out of it.
I used to go to this diner, all right? And check this out. It's the same owners, but they got hip to the people that would come in because they would see more expensive cars in the parking lot. And breakfast went from $2.99 to $11.99 for breakfast. My coffee went from $1.25 to $5.25. I'm like, what the fuck just happened in 3 years?
Wow.
And then all
Moving
these
on up.
assholes they're all from the East Coast, and I know you're from the East Coast, but most East Coast people
Asshole,
they come from the East Coast, they come from the Midwest, and they think like it's their neighborhood. I'm like, no, motherfucker, it's my neighborhood. Just because you outnumber me now, it doesn't mean like it's your neighborhood. But yeah, I don't know how I got into that.
Why you ended up at Denny's?
Yeah, anyways, yeah. So I'm at my diner, and I used to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner when I was working on a project because I would like order breakfast, eat my breakfast, and start writing. About 1, 2 o'clock, I'd get hungry and have lunch, start writing, and then I would get hungry. Now it's about 6, 7, have dinner, write another 2 hours. I used to be there all day, but I did that for 12 years, and then they had a new owner, new management, same owner, new management, and she walked up to me one time and she goes, "Excuse me, how long are you gonna be here?" I said, all day. She goes, "When are you gonna eat?" So I said, "I just had breakfast." And she goes, "Well, you can't stay in this booth." I go, "Well, I'm gonna have lunch in a couple hours." And then she goes, "Why don't you come back?" Look, the reality is that I don't know the legalities of getting kicked out of a diner like that.
True, right.
But there probably is. Like I don't know. Okay, I can tell you what I did. I snapped and I said, "Fuck you, bitch," and then I got kicked out. And that was
That
the
might
one
have been under the legality
Yeah,
of
because then the other
disorderly.
Yeah. The other manager came out, and then they said, "Sir, we heard that. We're going to call the police." And, I don't want to go through that, because I think I was in the wrong. I mean, you don't call somebody a bitch. Yeah. But it was you know what it was? It's a knee-jerk reaction.
I'm sure.
It was
I'm sure. I mean, they took away your. You've been doing this for how you said
for long,
years.
well, comedy 22 years. Yeah.
Oh my God, that
Yeah.
would be so. Denny's doesn't bother you?
So okay, so dig this. So now I go to Denny's, and the way I go is I just got to know the managers really good. Like I would talk to them and say, "Hey, man, you know, I'm here all the time." I just got a relationship. I don't know. I just
That's true, though.
I developed a relationship,
Right.
like a real friendship one with the
Yep.
managers. And I don't know if you ever know this, and everybody around the country knows this for a fact. When it's breakfast is over, they cut the Denny's in half, and there's a section you can't go to. Okay. Now what I managed to do is go into that section and write. And so I'm there. I'm left alone.
So have they given the percent of breakfast on the menu yet? Because
No.
I would think it's like that claim to fame. Because isn't that what LA is all about? You have these restaurants that have famous people
Yeah.
that frequent it. And next thing you know, they got a sandwich named after them. I think maybe you ought to talk to Denny's about this.
You know what? And no, that's a good idea. I don't even know. You know what? I shouldn't say anything. I can't. I don't want to talk bad about Denny's because then if somebody hears it, and then the food is delicious. I just want to say I don't know how they come up.
Hey man, I heard.
those
Yeah, I can hear
scrambled
it now.
eggs.
Yeah.
They're
No, I've eaten at
amazing.
Denny's. I ate at Denny's the other night with the man in the shopping cart. He pulled up. He sat it out front. One
When
of the
did it
comedians,
become a homeless haven?
It's-
I mean, every
it's-
time
yeah.
I'm at Denny's restroom, there's a guy using the handicap stool as an apartment. You know what I mean? It's like his apartment. It's like he hangs his clothes. He's got his
so
little
sad.
portable radio. And I was like he puts toilet paper as walls all around. You know? And this is what
Wait, that's amazing because I would think out in LA for what I was. You're almost describing what I lived in for what they get for it. I mean, it's not much bigger than that.
No,
Oh,
yeah.
that's hysterical.
but the
He's balling, man. According to the rest of the homeless people,
Yeah.
they're like, man, you see him? He's at Denny's. He's
yeah,
balling.
oh yeah. He's got the good spot.
Yeah.
Listen, by the way, any homeless people out there, if you're listening, man, you know, I love you.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
No.
Were you doing that? I mean, there's something that to be said about the material that you write. I mean, do you ever look up and go, "Oh my God, that was a gift"? Something walks into the door and just you get
Yeah.
2 pages out of that.
Yeah, you know.
People at their finest.
Yeah. Well, here it is. And I hate to keep quoting the same guy because I actually quote 3 or 4 guys, you know, that I really that influenced me heavy with how I write. But Richard Pryor always said, when you're on stage and something comes out of your mouth and and it's funny, but you weren't thinking about it, he calls it the comedy gods were smiling on you. So that happens, you know. Sometimes I'll be on stage, and you know when it happens, and then because we were talking about this when we first you and I I said, just say fuck you, right? I said when you get on stage,
Yeah, fuck you.
Okay, when I start thinking on stage is when I get in trouble. When I start thinking, when I start going, okay, how does this joke end? Okay, how do I start this joke? But when I don't think about it, when I just feel it, when I just feel okay, in this joke, you know, my kid, you know, fucking hated me, and I remember him hating me, and I can feel it hurt, and I let it out. So now people are looking, I'm hitting a couple senses, you know, they're feeling it, they're actually feeling it, even though you can't see it, it's tangible.
Right.
When someone tells a joke, versus, you know, a lot of corny comedians. If you notice, there's really they don't have a lot of soul to them.
Right.
Well, the reason is because, well, first of all, they're fucked up from their parents. Second is because they're just memorizing their jokes. And that's why when you go to a comedy club and you go, yeah, that's funny, but you could have got any other monkey to learn that joke and say it the same way versus feeling something.
Well, I said that to you. It takes a lot for me to laugh because, and I don't know, there's so much predictability as to where a joke is going to go. I don't mean to say I'm a judge of anything, but I have a really quick mind. So I'm listening to comedians, and it's like what you said. There's a certain amount of when, you know, I call it, you made me blow snot.
Yeah.
And that is when I've really enjoyed a comedian and I have a big laugh. So if I'm in your audience and you can get me to laugh, laughter's contagious. And I know they said that there's a certain rhythm that happens. You can hear that roll start, and it becomes contagious. So when there's comedians that you can see, and I'm watching the open mic nights, and what they decide to talk about. And one of the things that you touched on that was really poignant was that you said the ability to be vulnerable and to be willing to be vulnerable so they know it's real. They know that you're real. And that's where that connection happens.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen a lot of comedians able to do that in a way that, when you hear me laughing, if you hear me laughing, everybody else is laughing because it truly is. I don't laugh out loud at a lot of stuff.
Right, right.
So, it has to be something that really has you caught off guard. And I mean, this young man's been really quiet, which I find really fucking hysterical that there's a certain amount of sedation. I always think, because I'm high energy.
Right,
God
right.
help who's ever around me.
Nah, just observing and
Well,
listening.
he's been you've been doing it a few years. He's just up and getting his career started with the craft, but you're really. I mean, a couple years ago, you're 100% open micer. Now you've gotten paid, you've gotten to some professional clubs.
Yeah.
But how was it for you as an open micer? What was your experience, man?
Man, it's just just the grind of doing it. But it really has been unfair. My comedy career has been pretty unfair. I've been really lucky because
Unfair?
because it's unfair
You
to
got
other
to jump,
comedians.
right? Because
It was unfair to other comedians because in 2 years I've managed to meet the right people. I got hooked up with Woody Barcena, and I've had the pleasure in 2 years to feature for.
yeah, but dude, I'm going to tell you right now,
big clubs,
he wouldn't
so-
waste his time on.
Yeah, yeah.
You got some talent that attracted his eyes. So
Right, but the reason I was saying unfair for other comedians because my 2 years in comedy is not your typical other comedian 2 years. I've heard it from other headliners that wow, in 2 years you're already featuring, and
You know what?
I'm in a lucky place.
I'm gonna tell you why.
isn't he supposed to say fuck them?
Yeah,
fuck them.
Can I tell
I
you?
feel blessed.
Can I tell you, Annamarie? Years ago, I started my comedy at the Comedy Act Theater on Crenshaw and 43rd. I was the only Latino there. It was all black audience, all black judges all the time, all black comedians. It was black. I mean, this is black. You know what I mean? And I don't know if if you've ever worked in a hardcore black audience in the South Central, but their patience are very limited.
Well,
Like
no
one
mercy.
bad joke, they'd be like, "Boo, motherfucker." and what I tell him as a young comic, man, you got to be willing to die, to suck, without or you got to have your pity party. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, look, they hurt my feelings, but I didn't let them see. I waited till I got in the car and got on the freeway. What was
101.
it, 10? The 10, yeah, going back to LA is a 10. And I remember I'd cry like a little bitch, man. I would cry, I would swear, like if I was a prom queen and I was left at home or something, and I would cry and I would be angry, man. And I would be like, "Man, I'm funny, fuck them, I don't care." Right, and then you wipe the tears, and the next day, and then the one thing I tell young comics is record yourself.
Yeah, you did say that.
Yeah.
What does that serve, though? I mean, it's like you have to be willing to watch yourself, and you're probably your worst critic. You're going to be real when you see that reality of what you're doing incorrectly or what you need to fucking just.
No, you're right, but that's also a double. That's like a two-sided coin. When you said there's human beings, I think the good artists are the ones that critique themselves, even where to the point. And I hate to say it because I'm that guy. Where it's not healthy because I get to the point where I'm like, "Fuck, that sucked." Make it better, man. Fuck. Sometimes I go too much. Like, "Hey, get off me, coach." And then there's the comedians that suck, and you've seen this probably already. Working the small amount of time that you've been working, there's comedians that suck balls,
Right?
And they get off stage, and these are things that comedians that suck say. The audience sucked.
Yeah.
Right.
They
right.
blame the audience. No, you fucking suck, dude. No, they were there.
Do you guys critique each other? I mean, I'm wondering if you're real like that. I mean, or is it like a bro fest with the guys? Yeah, man, that was really tough. But you pulled yourself out of that. Or do you really say, hey, dude, no, you fucking sucked. You need to really work on that. I know you, because if you're schooling with him,
Yeah.
he'll tell you, right?
I'll tell you, in the 2 years that I've been in LA doing comedy, Willie's like the first one, and probably there's a few that only would tell you. A lot of comedians would tell you, "Hey man, great set," because because they want to keep you in that realm of you sucking because it makes them look better. But Willie will
Ooh,
tell you, hey man,
that
you
makes
suck
sense.
balls,
I
and that's from the heart.
Yeah, I just thought women did that shit, but yeah,
You-
because if you're being honest with somebody, for him to school you like that, and you also have to have a real thick skin, because you told him, "Hey, I'm going to hurt your feelings,"
right.
and that's the only way you're going to get it right. And that's something like, when you first started with him, were you aware of his presence and like that nervousness of like, oh
Oh
shit?
yeah. You hear about it, especially in LA. When you hear Willie Barcena, there's so many stories, man.
Hey,
Dude,
listen,
tequila stories.
It was tequila. Anything that happened to me, it was tequila.
Oh,
all right,
yeah,
listen.
mhm.
I've been in therapy.
I'm working on that.
I've dried out a few
It's it.
times.
Oh man,
And
crazy
thawed
ass
out.
shit,
I
man.
thawed myself out, and then I get back. And
I'm
then
with you on
and then
that.
I get out. But no, listen. On that, whenever you critique somebody, like if I tell a comedian something, or he tells me, it's because we've established a rapport. We have a
And
relationship,
trust.
like a trust.
Right.
Exactly. That's it. There's trust, because you can't go up to a comedian that you don't know, go, man, bro, you fucking suck. Although I have, but tequila.
My
Again,
defense, tequila.
I got kicked out of a club to this day. I got kicked out of a club in Minnesota, and that club is still going on. It's at the Mall of America.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's his name? Dennis Miller's brother
Owns it?
books it. I think
Okay.
Rich Miller. But he had every right to kick me out. Okay, because I was already on a short leash, right? Because I got kicked out of the Austin club because it was second show Saturday night, and I'm gonna tell you, for all the comedy club owners, man, you guys, you don't fucking get it. It is hard to perform on a Saturday night second show because people get there buzzed already at second show. By the time they're seated and everything, it's 11. You don't think they have alcohol in their pockets? Everybody, or they go to a bar before they go there, so
Right,
they
right.
all show up
Pre-game.
buzzed. The only way, and then back in the day, I said I hated them. I was almost like hating comedy. I think Steve Martin wrote a book. I quit comedy because second show Saturday night. I think he said it in his book.
Okay. Yeah.
So what I started doing, I said, look, fuck these people, man. They're buzzed. I'm gonna be buzzed. But then it started, getting buzzed when you start drinking on stage. You know what happens to me, man? What happens is, like, you ever driving in the freeway, and when you get in, you go, fuck, everybody's going fast, right? And then you forget, right? And then after a while, you're going the same speed.
Right.
And before you know it, you're passing people up like an asshole, right? And then you gotta go, oh shit, I gotta chill out. Okay, that's what happens to me. Like, I'll start drinking, I'll get buzzed with the audience, at first I go, no, it starts out like this. Fuck, these guys are buzzed, And then I'll say, I might have a beer or two for the next show. Right? A couple weeks go by, and then I get buzzed with them, right? Like, we're the same speed. And then
You're gone.
Then I start going, maybe I have 3 shots or 4 shots and 4 beers. And now I'm way past them. And that's when, comedy clubs get the, like, hey,
That guy?
yeah, Willie Barcena, he's hard to deal with. And honestly,
You're difficult.
Yeah.
Are you the difficult guy?
you know
I've
what?
heard, but you have to have a certain amount of, like you said, you took a step back and went, okay, that didn't work. I mean, that's got to be the
Well, I have to
discipline
pull
of your
myself
craft,
back.
right? Yeah.
I literally have to pull myself back and get myself off that freeway, 2 or 3 times a year. I mean, that's just, and then I got a lot of shit that I'm dealing with. My father left me when I was 6 or 5. We left Mexico, and then we came to East LA, where I got bullied all the time. And then, I have a mother that is fucking overbearing, and just, I'm fucked up, man.
So that's why you're so fucking funny.
Yeah, so I had to find a way for me to talk about these things on stage, and it almost became therapeutic for me. No, it is therapeutic for me. I mean, for your listeners, I have a special right now on Netflix called "The Truth Hurts."
Oh my God, it's hysterical.
Thank you.
It is.
I appreciate you saying that. But if you look at the subject matter, it's stuff that I'm confused about or that's bothering me. It starts out with religion. You know that. Have you seen it?
Yep.
So religion is got me all fucked up. Because when I was a kid, my mom would take me to church, and then sometimes she would take me to Catholic church, and then sometimes she took me to Christian church, and then she got lazy, so she let the Jehovah Witness people come over. She said it's because
They make house calls.
fuck that. I remember she used to get drunk. And like she's a good mom. She's a hard worker. I can't take nothing away from that lady. 3 jobs, just she balls to the wall, fucking works hard, But I remember, she was a young mom when I was a kid, and I remember she would party, and then I knew it was a way that she could say, "Wow, they went to church," but I didn't have to take them because they would come over.
I love that.
Yeah.
Jehovah's only because they make house calls. I like that.
And then you throw in this other bullshit. My mom would take me to this lady that would put ointments on me to keep the bad spirits away.
Shut up.
Swear to
Get
God.
the fuck out.
Swear to
That
God.
messed you up.
She would, and then I would sit there with this lady, and then she would have this jewelry, and it would shake. It would like rattle every time she moved her hands, like a gypsy. And she would like tell me what's going on in school, and I was such a dick because I hated this bitch, right? I hated her because I don't get along with my mom, right? So now I got 2 bitches coming at me, right? like one's forcing God up me, and the other one's forcing a fucking ointment on me, and I was like, fuck you guys, man.
Wait, but how do you take that? I mean, because my mind just went to like any woman that would try and say, "Hey, baby, we're gonna use some oils," and she'd be jingling her jewelry. You'd be like, "No."
Okay, Mom, I'm gonna tell you why. One of my biggest angers that I had when I was sitting there when I was 10 years old, because sometimes we didn't have food, right? And I was mad, man, because all we had was like beans and rice, and that's fucking it. And I was sick of that shit. And I see my mom paying $22, $32 for these candles. I'm going, man, bitch, that could be a steak. You know what I mean? Like that could be fucking chicken, man. That could be fucking food. That could be fucking ground beef. And that's why I used to hate this bitch. Now it just hit me right now. Thank you. See?
Thank you for bringing that up, Annamarie.
No, now I know why I was
Happy
so
holidays.
angry.
Yeah, now there you go.
It's Christmas
Feliz
time.
Navidad. And he was last seen hurling the candles off the altar. Fuck these people. Yeah, I can't even imagine what the repercussions would be if I can't say that because I did my first show and I talked a lot about my mother. Okay. And I guess one of my sisters was really upset that I did that.
Did they see you at the club?
No, here. On my show, I was talking about my upbringing. And we were talking about the generation of slap the shit out of you, but it wasn't enough to just slap the shit out of you. They grabbed things. They had other things that they would use. And everybody got in on it because everybody came from that generation. One was a shoe. The other one was like, they talked about the strap. When it was legal to beat your children within an inch of their life because you only had to do it once and fuck them up.
Right.
And then when your parents said, don't make me get up, you knew not to make them get up.
Right.
Yeah. Other than what the kids are doing now, whatever they call that self-expression shit that, it's just amazing the differences. But when you're talking about that and you bring that up on stage, it's like I tried to explain to my sister that I don't know any comedian that doesn't talk about their upbringing.
Yeah.
Well, because they all come from that.
I think the good ones do. I mean, the ones, that's wrong. That's wrong because it's taste.
Right.
Because some guys do like jokey jokes that make you think about, that take you away from reality. And then some people are like, I want to hear that. It's therapeutic to hear real shit. So it's taste. It's like,
For instance, I was at a party. And the guy comes up to me, and I have that thing where people just start talking to me like they just start shooting the shit with me.
Right.
And they start bleeding out their life story, which is fine. So the guy's telling me, he's like, my mother's, she's an alcoholic. My father beat me. He's going into this. And so I put my hand on his shoulder, and I go, so wait. So I understand this. What you're saying is you had a normal childhood. And he just burst out laughing because no shit.
That's that.
You got a fucking normal childhood like everybody else. I mean, the weird people, the abnormal people when shit didn't happen. Yeah. If you tell me fucking Johnny that got everything la-di fucking da, because no one gets la-di fucking da. No, right?
Yeah, no. Listen, I was at the Improv in Las Vegas, and it was me, this cute little blonde girl. She's kind of very hipster, little hottie chick, was the middle act. And this kind of a yuppie, like a young yuppie kid, kind of stiff,
Izod shirt.
Yeah, that kind of. Well, not so much Izod, but yeah, that kind. That you know what I mean? That type of kid.
Polo up.
No,
Go
not
ahead.
pull up. You're going way
Sorry.
back, girl. That's the '80s, man. What movie was that? I'm thinking Ferris Bueller's days.
Yep.
No, this is not,
Okay.
it wasn't. This is maybe 5 years ago.
Okay.
So this is at the Las Vegas at the Improv. And comics always, if they get along, if there's an energy, if there's something that's positive, they'll all click together. If there's no chemistry, like like you can feel it right away. Comics will say like, "Yeah, where you going? Oh, I'm going to my room. Where you going? Oh, I'm gonna go this way. Okay, later." You separate. You're like, perfect example. I was in Reno 3 months ago, and me in the middle act. I mean, sweet kid, but we just did not
Gel, huh?
connect.
Wow.
Yeah, and I could tell why. At the last night, I could tell why me and this kid we could not like connect because I go all the bars closed in that at the wherever I was in Reno at the Laugh Factory. Anyways, all the bars had closed, so I said, "Oh, they." And then one guy tells me, "Hey, the bar right there in the diner. You can still get a beer at the diner." So I go, "Man, I'm gonna walk in there. It's the last night, right? I've been there Tuesday. Now it's Sunday, and I'm gonna get a beer." I go, "Hey, man, can I get a beer?" He goes, "Absolutely." I go, "Yeah, you want a beer? I get some chips, yeah." And then I look to my right, and it's the featured act, the guy I've been working with all week, and he's sitting there with a big glass of milk and pancakes. And I go, "Oh, I could never hang out with someone that has a glass of milk and pancakes at 1 a.m. You know what I mean? You better be drinking, bro. You know what I mean? If you're drinking milk,
And pancakes. You ain't
I
got
don't-
he got
you know,
no soul for comedy.
like no, to me, and that's bad because probably the kid's talking to his friends. He's probably on a podcast right now going, "Listen, man, I was with this guy and he fucking drank all week. He's a fucking asshole."
Yeah, the difference is in seeing that. I mean, when you being on the road with him and hanging out with him and getting schooled and all that. I mean, he's actually probably giving you material.
Oh yeah,
for,
I have my Willie Barcena set ready, but I'm gonna
You
bring
wait
it
till
out.
I
I'm
die.
gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
till he's rolling down
I'm
the
gonna wait
hill.
till we're done working
Right,
together.
rolling down the hill.
I'll probably
Yeah,
bring it out in 10 years. It's gotta.
Well, let me
it's-
ask you, how fucked up are you?
No, very. Very.
Bring it, bro.
I mean, I grew up in Watts in the Nicholson Garden Project.
Watts,
so,
he got a tattaoo that says from Watts
Watts to Maui.
from Watts to Hawaii.
Wow.
He was raised
so-
in Nicholson Gardens. If
So-
anybody don't know about projects, all right, people from Compton are afraid to go to Nicholson Gardens,
Really?
and that's
Yeah,
the truth.
I used to be happy because we have an aunt that lives in Compton, and we used to love to go to Compton, man, because
You could relax.
like
You
we
could
chill.
relax there.
And my mom used to be like, "Oh, we're going." Like, can we stay
Imagine
over?
him going to Compton was like where other people go to Malibu.
Yeah,
it
was
no
like, oh.
It
shit, dude.
was a
Really?
haven, like it was just a safe haven to be in Compton. Like,
So you're fucking hysterical.
Yeah,
That's
a little
all
bit,
that you got the
little bit.
And he
criteria.
got picked on a lot, man. Tell him about the percentage of Latinos versus the black
yeah, we're
community.
like maybe like two, 3 families on the block, the Hispanic, that, and everybody else was black. Everybody at school was black. Everything. My babysitter was black. Peaches was black. So
Peaches, really?
yeah.
You got a babysitter named
Named
Peaches?
Peaches, yeah.
Well, that's so good for material.
So yeah,
You talk about
now
peaches?
it is. It's funny because now like all the black dudes like, "Oh, you from Watts," and they give you love and stuff, right? And back in the day, we're like, "What was the love back then?" Like now, like now you get your medal, of honor for surviving Watts.
Well, yeah, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Right?
So,
And-
it was worth it.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna say it was worth it.
I hear some stories of this dude, man. It's like I mean, he grew up rough. When he tells me stories, I'm like, damn, bro. Like he had to put his shoes in his
In the
backpack so they
backpack,
wouldn't
change
steal
them
them. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's what you touch on as far as comedy. Do you do political? Do you do?
Nah, not yet. Not political wise.
But
not
you're
yet,
gonna,
'cause it
right?
doesn't affect me. I will.
Because now that we know the Ku Klux Klan has their own fucking show,
well,
we already did that.
everybody's
What?
got their own show.
What's
Everything.
next?
You know,
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, and I'm not one of those guys that uses who I am, my Latino-ness, as a crutch. Because I never believed in woe is me or feel sorry for me. I'm like, fuck that. No matter what you think of me, I'm gonna survive.
Mhm.
But listen, man, you know what pisses me off about Hollywood and you fucking assholes if you're listening.
I have a lot of
is-
fucking assholes listening
No,
right now. I'm
gonna
sure.
I'm gonna tell you.
I attract them. Go ahead.
I don't know what the fuck is up their ass, but they will not. I mean, I know the black community was upset because they didn't have people nominated for the Oscars. All right, think about. They're upset. We're invisible. You know, I've seen scenes. I've seen scenes like cop scenes. I mean, recent ones when there's cop scenes and they're chasing somebody downtown, and they go through 3-4 blocks, and the guy gets on a motorcycle, and you don't see one Hispanic. I'm like, what the fuck? If that was to happen for reals, it'd be 70% Hispanic down there. You know,
right.
But in the movies, I literally go, what the fuck, man? Not one. And look at it now. Next time you see something happening downtown where Hispanics are supposed to be there, a lot of times they're not. It's just all these extras show up. You know. And
there was a woman that I was very fortunate to meet. We had her on the show, Marissa Herrera, and she does a lot. She's a Latina, Puerto Rican, and they're doing a movie called Two Steps In. It's a series made for television. And they were discussing getting a Latino director, producer, and could we find a woman? Yeah. And in listening to them talk, like I said, you're absolutely right. When you're looking at the generalized picture of, and I see everything because I have more Black friends than I've ever had in my life. My life is so much more enriched now that I've moved to LA. And seriously, it is. It's like. It's like I actually look at things differently. Like I'll look at all the billboards and I look at what's around me now and I see it totally different. It's like this really is like it's so white.
A melting pot.
It's a melting pot in the reality. But what Hollywood projects, I don't know. It's just like really it doesn't reflect the real world in which we live. And people actually believe that's the real world in which they live. And it's just like it's not. It's a box that doesn't fucking exists.
No, but
and people.
but I gotta tell you, man. So this started because you talked about the Klan getting their own show. So then that's what sparked me to go off on this. Is that listen? I got nothing against little people, but they got their own show. I mean, and then they have communities of little people, right? Like literally communities, and like. They go and then in those scenes, they'll go to a restaurant and everybody is in there as a little person. And I'm like, I don't understand. I think we're easier to find Hispanics than little people. You would think, we think economically, we probably buy more than little people. So, so if we're talking business here, I mean, Hollywood, when are you going to get your head out of your ass?
I don't know, because when I'm at Costco's, the people serving me, waiting on me, and eating the food in line when they had given away the free food, I'm sorry, but that's pretty much what I see. I'm the minority, okay?
You trying to say all the Costco people, all the Hispanics work at Costco, you racist bitch? The fuck? How do we go there?
It's a great company.
I didn't go there. No, I love your people. I see my Costco's. Fuck you, Annamarie. I love your people here, too.
Well, now you know where the fuck they are. That's right. That's so funny. Yeah, and it just really strikes me as you see a whole different perspective of what people, the imagery, like I've been amazed, like, of being out and there's these beautiful, like, people, the perfect people. They look, but they're almost like.
Who's perfect? Where?
Like
on TV, you mean?
No. When you're walking around LA and the bodies are perfect and like there's this huge, and they're all actors and actresses. The perfect skinny little white woman. Everybody's got they're going to the gym and everybody's body's perfect. Everybody's looking fine.
No. I know this town. Those aren't the fucking actors. Your waiters are your fucking actors. All right, your hostess who took you. She's got a audition the next day. Those women that you see all fine walking around, what they are is paid whores. They marry a rich fuck in Hollywood, all right? Now, he's a producer, a writer, or something, right? Now, her job is all it is to go to the gym and wear expensive stuff and suck his dick when he gets home. That's who those chicks are.
Come on, you really think that?
Absolutely.
You think they're sucking dick?
Go to the Beverly Center.
That's a new thing.
Go to the Beverly Center and see all these women like buying expensive things. Now, okay, I mean, you just got to put 1 + 1, right? You're gonna buy an expensive thing, and you're not working. It's a Tuesday, right? At 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
You're not an actor.
No. You know what you're doing? you're going to somebody's house and not somebody's. It's your house now. You earned half of it, right? I mean, whoever these chicks are, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they're actresses. I might be wrong.
Well, I'm just saying that you have this incredible in your billboards of like all the beautiful people and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, the billboards.
The billboards.
Oh,
but I want to say this:
those are all
you're right.
photoshopped. Yeah.
I have seen Empire's been up. I've seen all the movies. But you're right, because when I look for the Latinos, you guys are nowhere.
No. We are.
Where?
You ever see? This is how racist the influence is that we are racist with ourselves. You ever watch a Spanish soap opera? Turn off the sound. Everybody looks fucking white, man. I've never seen more blonde hair, green eyed Mexicans than I have on fucking soap operas. Why? Because we're self-loathing and we were programmed to not like ourselves, because whenever we see a Latino on television, he's doing something stupid or he's the bottom of the barrel. So there's a lot of self-loathing. So when we the Latinos create a show, I'm not going to say we because I don't listen to Spanish TV. And by the way, Spanish people, what the fuck, you're in America. Learn the fucking language. Fuck it, I said it. Look, and I'm an immigrant, you know? It's funny because there's people that have that different point of view. Hey, learn whatever fuck language you want to learn, but I say English, right? Anyways, I lost my train of thought. Where was I headed with this?
You were headed on the fact that I said you really don't see.
Yeah. No, the self-loathing. I get it. So there's a lot of psychological bullshit that goes on that has fucked Hispanics. Hispanics don't even like themselves. They were fucked and raped and became one culture. Cubans, Mexicans, they all got raped by somebody. That's how you have Spanish names. We're half from Spain and half Indian. So we already in our DNA, there's already fighting inside of us. You know what I mean?
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Forget about Hollywood not liking us.
That's
we
it.
fucking
We
have a
don't
hard
like
time liking ourselves.
But what amazes me is that your women they're exquisitely beautiful. Their skin is profoundly perfected. They're flawless.
I agree. Okay, no. Here's where we gotta fix this shit.
Yeah.
Okay, the way you said it. See, the way you said it is fucking racist. And I'll tell you why. All right? I'm gonna show you how stupid that was. You went like this.
I'm gonna get schooled.
No.
Watch out. Go ahead.
Because you go like this. Your women are this and this and that. And that is garbage, man.
Why
and
is
I'll tell you no, because some Latinas are beautiful. Some are okay, and some are fucking ugly. Yeah. All right? Okay, black women.
Beautiful.
Some are beautiful. No, not beautiful. Some
are beautiful.
Are beautiful. Some are okay, and some are fucking ugly. And so do white women and Asian women and everybody else. So
fairness,
you could say, there's some beautiful Latinas. That I'll take that. But it's like me, if like let's say the room was all black, and I'll be going, man, black people, you're fucking gorgeous. Jesus Christ. Denzel, huh? Are you with me? Oh, bitch. You'd be like, this motherfucker's pandering.
Wait, I can see this working into it. And I was on the show, and this woman happened to say the most asinine thing I've ever heard. Yeah.
No, it wasn't asinine. No, it's just me. By the way, I'm an asshole. I got problems. I bet you if a therapist was here, you're saying, Willie, fucking let it go. All right? Fuck.
No, but you have a great perspective on that. I mean, as far as like comedy goes, that's the other thing. I guess for as far as like comedians, do they do a certain type of comedy because of the culture? And they stated that as far as like what you have George Lopez, you have
who?
Wait a minute. Yeah, I know. There's George Lopez. There's
well, don't compare me
not
to
the
George.
same category.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying
like
do you have is there a
I'll
limited
take his
amount?
money, but not his act.
Okay. Do you have a limited is there also like a smaller
No,
venue?
This is what I think. I think as human beings, as artists, let's say musicians, I'm looking at Jimi Hendrix right here. Jimi Hendrix, his senses, how he connected with the universe was at another level, man. And
Right.
almost like he had, like we're talking, he was a black belt, and then you had guys that couldn't write like that. They could, whether they're whatever culture they are, whatever. And in comedy is that because you asked me about Hispanics.
Right.
Now here's where I tell you, it's kind of everybody, man. It's some their level is very simpleton. It's very like, hey, I'm Mexican. I had a burrito and I farted it, and you kind of where your spiritual level, your intellectual level is only so high. And I think the deeper you see into people, the deeper you see into cultures, the deeper you see into yourself, um, the heavier you can write about and make it funny. Because I hate you fucking asshole comics, you fucking pieces of shit out there that and
No
especially a lot of
tequila
you
was
guys from
hurt during
Austin,
this
man.
interview.
They think they all want to be like Bill Hicks, because Bill
Okay.
Hicks was very deep about things, and they think that generation they call themselves alternative, because and Bill Hicks is probably considered like the king of that style. But Bill Hicks, if you dissect when he started, there were jokes like his bits that we listened to at the end. When you go back years later, they were like a joke. It was one joke, and then it evolved. So what I hate about, and he was deep. When we're talking about levels, right?
Right.
He was deep. He was talking about cancer. He was talking about dying and making you laugh. But these young, lazy fucking comedians don't want to pay dues, which is write a joke. And guess what? You're going to have to suffer, fucker, because it might suck. And then rewrite it. And now it's going to suck less. And then like that. You got to go through this pain as an artist. And I think, but I think also, you went to levels, I think there's just some cats, man, like Carlin, like Lenny Bruce, like Richard Pryor, like
That was
Bill
a
Hicks.
level of
that
genius.
their level of
Right,
genius,
genius.
their comedy level was really
Brilliant.
yeah. I mean, we all try to touch it. I mean, who doesn't try to aim for the sky? A lot of us fall short. As good as we may think we are, we're probably pretty good, but not the level of mastery.
There was a certain right the amount of passion that they like George Carlin he was
Oh.
brilliant, and his use of his use of the language
Oh yeah.
was like no other. And that was something that to have that passion as to where he was really. I mean, he showed when I mentioned he was just got out of the hospital. He was performing in Fort Myers, Florida. It was one of the last few performances before he died, and he had all these notes, and he apologized because of it, and to have someone of his
level
to have notes, and he explained it. He said, I this is something I would never do, maybe back in the day when I started, but I've just gotten out of the hospital, and I apologize. I'm a little slower than I used to be, and he had to reference it, but it was like watching if you watch a conductor and he flips the page and he doesn't skip a beat with the rhythm of what he's doing, even though he's reading from notes.
Yeah.
Whereas I've watched young comedians, they get up, they get their notes, they're trying to perfect their art, but they're blah, 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 and the rhythm of their joke, it's never gonna work.
No, well, you're talking about white belts versus like a guy with
Well,
black belt.
but
You got to start somewhere. By the way, and I got to tell you, Annamarie, this is where comics pussy out. Or every time I say pussy out, Betty White goes in my head. Betty White, get out of my head. Because I used to always say, don't pussy out, don't be a pussy. So I heard Betty White's joke about pussy.
and that was
she wrote
it.
the most brilliant joke, man. By the way, I think it's the most brilliant pussy joke I've ever heard in my life is Betty White's. And here it goes, people. She says, I don't know why people say it takes balls to do something. Balls are very fragile. You barely touch them and you get hurt. She goes, a pussy can take a pounding, And I was like, so now when I say don't be a pussy, I think
Like
it's
you
Betty
can't.
White.
Yeah, you can't.
So, I guess, where was I?
What we're saying about as far as like you got to start somewhere. As
White
far as
belts.
comedians in writing and doing like they perfecting their art, getting the joke, and they got their notebook up on stage.
No, listen.
Phones.
At first, I did it. I
Right.
did it with notes, and I would forget, and I would be so nervous I couldn't focus. I mean, everybody goes through that. Everybody goes through where like you felt because it takes you a while to get into this rhythm. Listen, man, I read a great book and it made sense to me. It's talent is overrated. And here it is. Listen, man. When you're walking, when you were a baby and you're walking, your dad or your mom didn't go, "Come on, walk." What the fuck? Fucking learn to walk, and they didn't pick you up and like take a step. Like come on. That never happens. A kid first learns to roll over with his body, and then he learns to get on all fours. That little thing takes a long fucking time. We're not even talking about crawling yet. We're just talking about moving your limbs. So that's man. Look at all these steps before you can run. And
right.
All right. So for young comics, that I see like getting nervous, and I've seen comics, running after a bad set. I'm like, it's normal. If like going back.
Well, that's what's kept me from, like, you had asked me if I've done any more stand up, and my fear is like, it's like
you're afraid to be rejected.
Yeah.
See, think of me as your therapist here.
Yeah,
You're afraid of rejection.
Oh man, they're gonna know.
Well, you got to write down why that is. If I were you, like to dissect myself.
Right.
Okay, let's say that was my problem. I would write down the sentence. Okay, I am afraid to be rejected. Now I gotta say, okay, Willie, tell the fucking truth. What happened? And I only get to see it, so I write it for me. It's not like I'm writing it so people can see it. I don't give a fuck how embarrassing it is. I'm gonna write it, even if fucking. I don't care if it's hurtful. If tears come down, I'll be like, fuck, I'm very rejected because my dad left me, son of a bitch. I'm afraid to be rejected. For a long time, I had a lot of trouble reading until I read a book about psychology. I thought, man, maybe I can't read. Maybe this, maybe that. And I read this book that talked about you got to go. There was trauma. A lot of times something traumatic happened that triggers when you do something. So all these examples started happening. And I remember going back to when I got here from Mexico, and everybody was reading, right? You had all these little Mexican-American kids, but they were Mexican-American, I'm fucking straight beaner, man. Like, I was just like, mesmerized, like, fuck, there's food here, right? So I remember the teacher told me to read, like, okay, let me hear you read. And I could read, but I had to take my time, and I said it with a thick accent, and I could hear the kids laughing. See? So it triggered something. So now after that, any time the teacher asked me to read, I would fucking shake.
Yeah.
So when I'd go for auditions, it took me for a long time. By the way, I fucking got the shit down now. I would shake, and I'd what the fuck am I shaking? I know these words. And then why is it coming out in Spanish?
Right.
No, but then I wouldn't come out in Spanish. I'm fucking around. But anyways, I would. But anyway, where did that come from? They come from like I had to like dig, like what the fuck is my problem? I had to dig in within yourself. So get on that fucking stage, write down what the fuck, whatever. Your mom probably fucking was. I'm sure it was probably your mom wrote something critical about you.
Well,
it
was
or said something critical or whatever the fuck. What you gotta. Man, I gotta get you. Do some of that. What do they call affirmations?
Affirmations. You're good. You're
good.
kind. You're worthy. Yeah, but the other thing is like, I've never asked a comedian on the show to do a bit. I never, because a lot of them I ask them, what do you want to do? What do you want to talk about? Blah blah blah. But I'm dying because it's like I'm the best audience there is, and so it's like if I said to you, could you do a bit? Can you
fucking hate that.
I'm
gonna tell you why.
Why?
When we go to comedians go to do radio, they always tell us, hey, let me hear something funny, and that never works. Now it's awkward, It's like, oh shit, right? Versus organically, I said a lot of funny shit tonight.
Yeah, you did.
You see, and if you put, if you understand, there was a lot of funny stuff just in our conversation. Now. Like this, it just I feel like okay, here comes joke.
So it's good to know. But you know what? And I only got a few.
And by the way,
left.
if you have a comedian here and he can't riff with you, he sucks.
Right? You think I'm doing the right thing? You think this is my niche?
I think this is awesome. I think you're doing a great job, and I think like we talked earlier, the best books, a really good book I read. It said write down. Like, give yourself a score from 1 to 10. I don't know if you heard this.
No.
And like, okay, let's say you give yourself an 8, a 9, or a 7. Whatever you give yourself, right? You ask yourself, now you're going to have to write why what you need to do to get those extra points,
Okay.
and that'll come out. It'll come out in the truth.
Can,
So this is your show, man.
can I join the Willie School of?
You got good liver.
That's a bad part.
No,
You gotta-
he's always going to need a driver and a cleanup on all
No,
night.
no. He
No?
doesn't care. He said we're getting a taxi, we're getting an Uber,
Oh.
we're
It's
drinking.
ugly, man.
Bitch.
That's it.
You're drinking.
No,
Yeah.
thank you. Listen, I've been interviewed a lot around the country by many people. You know,
Thank you, man. That means
you got
a lot.
it. You got it, man.
That means a lot. And
Kick
you,
some ass.
I'm going to have you back.
Oh, I would love to come back.
I'm really
anytime.
gonna have you back because I'm
You'd be a good
I know I'm
co-host.
gonna I know I'm gonna
Yeah, I'd
hear
love to
great
be here,
things. Seriously.
definitely.
And do you want to say where you're performing? I always ask the comedians, tell me where I can get in
want
touch with you. Let people know where you are, how to reach you, what you're doing, where you're gonna be at. And this, he don't need this blow sunshine up his ass.
Nah, sure. You can
Sorry.
find
That's
me
it.
on
That's
I
Facebook.
thought
all
you guys were talking. That's why. I was like,
See how you are?
You can find me on Facebook under Jose Raymond. On Instagram at Jose Raymond Comedian. My next show, there's you never know in the show business. I could perform tomorrow. I don't know, but the next planned one, I'll be on the 1st at the Haha Comedy Club in North Hollywood.
Oh man,
And then
I would
after
like
that,
to be able to
I'm
catch
taking
that.
off on the road with Willie again. We'll be in.
Yeah, do me a favor, connect with me because I like to know where comedians are going to be. I'm trying to
definitely. I'll give you
design
more
a
of my information.
website where I want all the comedians because you guys are all the fuck over the place, and I
Yeah.
want to be able to just you be all listed there, and as I click on you, you go off to the side, boom, and then what you're doing is going to come up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I got a guy working on that, and you
Definitely.
you want to tell people because you're everywhere.
no, well, I forgot to say, but I'm in Florida, so I should know where. I'm in Florida, people. See, this is why
No,
I
I
suck.
am
I
from
suck.
Florida.
I was never good. I was never good. My business sucks. My
Really?
jokes are great. You know what I mean?
No,
If I would switch that, if I would have learned the opposite
other way?
of that, I
have a
I'd
girlfriend.
have George Lopez money right now.
My girlfriend Renee Hilmar, she's in Fort Myers. She's gonna jump to know you're in
yeah,
You're actually gonna be down in Florida.
yeah. I'll tell you right now.
You hear that, Renee? He's coming to Florida.
And I think Boca Raton.
Boca Raton. That's East
Boca
Coast.
Raton. Yeah, isn't that where like a lot of older
Jews.
dudes are
Lot
with
of-
young
Jew-
broads?
Jew-
Yeah, I'll be in Rancho Cordova in 2 weeks, and I'll be somewhere else, man. I forgot another city.
Vegas. We'll be in Vegas.
I'll be in Vegas at the end of January, the last week of January. We're there the whole week.
The
Me
stratosphere.
and him, and Vegas is always muy dangeroso for me.
I would
All
think so.
right?
Yeah, but
Come
what
on, a
stays
city
in
with
Vegas
no last
gets
call.
dragged behind
Get
you.
out of here, bro.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate you
Thank
being
Thank
on
you.
the
Thank
show.
you for having us.
Next week we're gonna see who we're gonna get in this seat, and we're gonna have just as much fun. Well, probably not, but anyways, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys. Thank you again, and take us home, Lee.